Hello and welcome to the Carbitrage podcast, episode 213. That is 213. I'm Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sineski. Hello.
Hello there, listener, viewer,
Welcome back.
patron.
We still have Jana and Lucy with us,
Hello.
and
Lucy
Corey,
is-
but it doesn't count.
Lucy's sitting in his chair. You can actually see him in the camera.
He's a good boy.
Yes, he is.
It's very nice having a frolicking cat running around.
It's pretty great. I think he likes it. He likes going new places.
Seems fine.
He loves being around people. He's like the most outgoing cat.
He likes being in a chair like a human.
Yeah, he really does. He's a good boy.
I
We
have
have
a
a
stool.
blanket here for him, but he just
He's too
doesn't
excited.
care.
He's
Yeah,
too excited.
He'd rather be on the chair. So
I have switched to a Coors Light Tolls boy.
I've got a Stella Artois.
Fair
I
enough.
have an empty green tea latte.
I've got a cinnamon dolce latte that I'll be drinking on the way home.
Fair enough. Before we dig into topics, I think the first one's you. I
Yes, it
want to
is.
briefly touch on our Patreon page. Patreon, if you are not familiar with it, is a direct content creator support mechanism for content consumers like you to support content producers like us. We have one of these bad boys. It's over at patreon.com/carbitrage. On this page, you will find two open-ended levels of support that include little swag items, access to our Discord, access to us personally for adding podcast topics, as well as just having a chat. Head on over to patreon.com/carbitrage.
So, I do have the first topic, but I can't see it yet because.
You're using the TV.
Yeah, I
for notes
decided to
still.
update the.
Here it is.
I would like to talk about the GM Wuling Hong Kong Mini EV Macaroon. That's why I need
Isn't
a
a
copy.
macaroon a nut
It is. It's also apparently an EV.
that launches the Wuling Hongguang Mini EV macaroon? Huh.
Yes, it is a.
So tell me about the WHGMEVM.
I'm just gonna say the whole name. So the Wuling Hong Kong Mini EV Macaroon is GM's new mini EV that they launched in China for 36,000 yen, I guess. Or no, yeah, 36. No,
Is that a lot of money?
36,000 mile warranty, actually, is what it says. Gianna, if you wanted to look at this
Oh my
adorable
gosh,
pink
That's the
EV,
perfect pink.
it's pretty great.
That is the perfect shade of pink.
It's really small. It's a little bit taller than the Smart EQ42, which is there. It's a little bit taller than the Smart, basically, for you to have some idea. Same specs largely for size and dimensions as the Smart. Top speed of 62 miles per hour, 27 horsepower, 63 pound-feet of torque,
That's an impressive top speed for 27 horsepower.
106 mile range, and a MSRP starting at $5,740. Fully maxed out price $6,655.
I would much rather have this than two Changli Namecas.
I would much rather have this than actually any Tesla.
Ouch. Not really.
No, I would, because you know how I like tiny cars,
Mhm.
and like to me, a Renault Twingo has more value to me as a person than like a Bentley Turbo R
Yeah.
would have. I would take this over
This-
a Tesla.
Would be difficult to
This
use
reminds me,
on
I
these
need to
roads.
slide in a topic in between the next one. It's important.
Okay. But I thought, Jana, does this get your approval?
It does, especially with that pink. Like, I don't care how the car functions or whatnot. It just that shade of pink is what sells
That's a
it
really
to me.
good pink, actually. I'm not gonna lie. It's also surprisingly large, 114 inches long. So its length is about the length of the Fiat 500. It's
Well, it's a
fits-
2+2, so it pretty much
Yeah.
has to be.
Yeah, so it fits in the wheelbase of like a 90s Accord. It is 58 inches wide, which is about Tucker.
Not like the Tucker the car, but like Tucker the
It
patron.
is narrow. So you think about the fact that like 58 inches would be it's 1,400 millimeters.
Lucifer's intrigued.
He's very
So,
intrigued by that arc
pyromania.
lighter. But I think it's just a good sized car. It's got a good wheelbase. It's just a really good car. I think this
It looks like
would be
a K car.
perfect for America to compete against like a Fiat 500.
What's the range?
106 miles. It's right in the nuts of the 500.
So if it had twice the power and a top speed of somewhere in the 80 range, because like let's be honest, an eventual top speed of 62 is kind of a hazard.
So
in the United
looking at
States.
62 is exactly in the nuts, 100 kilometers per hour.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's electronically limited.
It has 27 horsepower.
Yeah, but it's also electronically. It
The
also
500
has 63 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, but the 500e, the first gen, has
Has
111 horsepower.
I think you're right. It might be a little bit slow. I still want it.
I'm not discrediting the vehicle at all. I'm just saying for the United States market,
Maybe if it had a little bit more power.
it needs a little bit more
A
power.
little bit more power.
For like Japan, perfect. China, perfect.
I
No
think
problem.
I
Big city
still
environments,
want this here.
bring back car to go. Use these.
That would be perfect for
There you
cargo.
go.
Yes, I love
Stay
it.
in the city.
Jana, what would you like to?
Yeah, I added a blank topic just so we could.
Okay, so I spend a lot of my extra time on TikTok.
Yikes.
And I found there's this user called Mario Lee Zach or whatever, and he posts daily Twingo videos.
Oh, yes.
Where the
this guy.
Twingos just gently
Here, I
bump
got it.
into things.
He's got a video where the whole video is just him gently bumping his Twingo into things. He does these every day. He does a new one every day.
Here, let me.
Thank you for bringing that up because Jana sent that to me with no context, and it's like he's got music in the background and everything, and his Twingo going like full chat, and then let's see here.
That's just the sound of a happy Twingo.
But then they just.
Oh, he's just mowing down the brush. the boops.
The tiniest boop is the best
So
part.
I love it.
That bumper is very well made.
And it's somehow made its way to American TikTok. So there's so many people that have no idea
What a Twingo is.
what a Twingo is. And so they're like, I need this tiny car. And
I really need a Twingo for the
they're like,
hipsters
this
to get in.
tiny
Yeah,
red
oh
car
God, yeah.
makes my day. And I'm like, Twingo.
I really need a Twingo. Damn it.
Well, you could have one too. They're old enough.
Yeah, they are. I know.
You could buy one.
It's the one I really want. It starts in 1997.
So that's next year.
Yeah, it does. It starts next year. Actually, yeah. I will probably have enough money in savings to be able to buy a Twingo.
I did. This isn't on the topics or whatever, but the Avantime that was for sale in Vancouver.
Yes.
Yes.
There's one that was for sale in Vancouver. Is like $30,000.
How is that possible? Because they're 25 year or
So,
20. Sorry, 20 year.
They're 15.
They're 15. So you could have had an Avantime there for years.
Yeah, if you're Canadian.
I have Canadian friends, but like that, I feel like it's too much of an imposition for me to ask for them to like buy it, register it, and then drive it down to the motorplex.
No.
For them, it might be. Plus, I have to really trust them because they would own this vehicle that I'm paying cash for.
What about Tyson? He's a good guy.
Is he Canadian?
He
Yes.
is. He's from
He's
British
literally
Columbia.
Canadian. That's why I call him Canadian
Does
Tyson.
he still have dual citizenship?
I
Yes.
think so.
He's a Canadian citizen.
We
He
need
could
to have a
probably-
chat because I think
His,
he'd be into
his
that kind
Subaru
of
is
thing.
from Canada. That's why it's so clean because it's from Vancouver.
Right, but like I
Did
understand
the
coming.
cat escape?
Uh
Oh no!
oh.
Where'd he go to?
You can hear his wayward
Lucy.
meow. Oh no. Okay.
We're on pause for a second while we retrieve the cat.
Where did he go?
This is the greatest episode ever.
Where did he go?
Buddy. Just exploring.
I saw a tail go through the rail. I was like, did he just? Oh no.
Buddy.
He meowed when he got lost too, which is the cutest
I don't know
part.
how to get back.
He's going right back.
What's Buddy doing?
She's gonna get some belly scratches. He's gonna get some belly scratches.
I love how you announced his.
But anyway, I would love to give an Avantime before I can like legally have one here, even if it was like a year prior. 'Cause
Yeah.
that wouldn't be
think you
too bad.
should totally get one and just like park it here.
Because it wouldn't have to leave here ever.
No, it literally wouldn't. You just have it here.
I'll just have Ontario plates on it.
You don't register. It's only legal if you register it. And
No,
so your
it would
friend's
have to
car-
be registered in Canada.
Well, yeah, I know, but it'd be illegal if you tried to register it here.
Right, yeah, it would be
But
perfectly
if it's just
legal
like
down
your
here.
Canadian friend's car,
Right.
it's like when you see people with like first generation Yaris's, like they're from Mexico. Like they bought the car in Mexico and moved here,
Yeah.
but still got Mexican Durango plates on it.
I should really look into this because when you sent me that, and I had seen it separately too, but I'm just like, hey, that's a little bit too much.
It was a
But-
little bit. It wasn't that bad. 'Cause, I mean, 10 grand for like something.
It was a
where it's-
nice example.
It was a really good one at a dealer, so I have to deal with like, whenever I buy a car at a dealer, I always add like an extra like 10 to 20% for value, just because.
I
like,
don't. I removed that value.
Well, I mean,
because
just-
dealers suck.
Well, I mean, like value, like to the like dealer value, quote unquote. I just expect it to be extra 10 to 20% because it's the dealer.
Well, I'm in that position too, where I've imported cars, and I know how cheap it is to do it, and like I have a person that's willing to bring one in, but like it has to be legal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and like it's gonna be hard to find even an 01, so it's gonna be an 02 for me, which means it is still many years off that. Is an adorable kitty.
He's being a good boy.
He's
I
a
said
good boy.
He really likes being held.
Oh, this is like the best video version we're gonna ever have. Anyway, neither here nor there. I'll get on to my actual topic. So we were talking about how Subaru finally fixed the EJ after like 30 years. Remember how there's a new turbocharged 4-cylinder on the block?
Yes.
Yeah, it turns out they're regressing with that engine because they just had to stop sale the Boxster and the Cayman because they had a defective batch of connecting rods.
Oh my God.
So Porsches were pulling WRXs and they were just scattering all over the road.
Where'd he go? Oh, he's over there. Jen, can you just keep an eye on him?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Because now
to.
he's discovered that there's a whole world down there. And he's
Uh-oh.
gonna probably try to go down there.
No, he's just laying right now.
Okay.
He is. He's just splitted. But yeah, so there's that. So every turbo flat 4, except for I guess the EJ now, ironically, had to switch spots.
The EJ
It's
is the most
garbage.
the EJ is the most reliable Boxer 4.
Turbo. Yeah. Yep.
I would just say Boxer 4.
Yeah.
Think of a more reliable Boxer 4 right now.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I haven't kept tabs on the FA or the FB.
It's bad.
okay. All right.
It's still bad.
So yeah, this.
Whenever Subaru
Oh,
launches.
what? Oh, sorry, I'm wrong. They recalled the flat 6. Oh, this took the wind out of my sail.
Oh. Well, I mean, it's still a Subaru EJ is probably still more reliable.
Apparently, but like, wow.
Because it's also Volkswagen timing chain.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, these have Variocam, I'm sure, still. So it's got like 2.7T carryover.
So
parts in it.
they're both going to need their timing components replaced at 120,000 miles. But I would take the Subaru timing belt repair. That's like designed
yeah.
to be repaired.
versus like we could barely make the flat 6 do 4 liters
So-
engine.
Like, this is my thing with like Subaru. Like, I know they're unreliable. They're not that great. However, Subaru knows that too, and they design their cars to be serviced still. And they're the only brand that still does that.
True.
Like, everything is
I haven't
easy.
worked on a Subaru. but-
Everything is right there. So,
except for the spark plugs.
yeah, but you can't really do anything about that.
Drop the engine out.
Yeah, well, I mean, they actually have a very, very, like, exact TSB on how to do it, like, down to brand of tool to
Do
use.
you have to have a really tiny hand?
No, you use if I remember correctly, I think it's a snap-on spark plug, magnetic spark plug socket.
Pardon. Wow.
You use their Blue Point, like a 1-inch.
The extension length would be the biggest
like
thing.
One of the wobble
Okay,
extension. That
sure.
use like that's like the Blue Point, like 1 inch or something, like the 2 inch. Like they tell you the exact part number to buy from the Snap-on guy, and then you use any 6-inch extension, and you can just get it right in.
Okay.
And so like you can do it like if you have the correct tools, you can do.
So it's like a 6 Series V8 where you have to know the exact combination of
Exactly.
U-joints and socket
And
extensions.
it's like down. They give you like down to brand. So like they're like, oh
Okay.
yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, the Harbor Freight one doesn't fit.
Does a modern Subaru, if you go to a dealer right now, does it come with in the owner's manual an actual like fluid service schedule that you're supposed to follow?
As of 2015, yes, it did.
Okay, well, that's pretty good.
And they don't go really overboard on their oil changes. They say, I think they say 5,000 miles.
That's
what-
pretty
it's like
good.
5 or 7 or something. But also, like, their engines are designed to be easily removed. It's 4 bolts on the bell
Oh
housing.
yeah, it's so far forward.
But I mean, the bell housing, they have 4 bolts. Each of those 4 bolts are easily accessible.
Mm-hmm.
2 bolts for the mounts, and then you can get it out. You can do the timing belt without removing the engine or without having to like do any weird hoisting or anything. It's just there. You have like about a fist and a half of length to like go in front of the engine to like grab things.
Weird sentence.
Well, I mean, because like you go like that, like about one fist is.
I would have said one Big Mac or whatever, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
well, like, I mean,
I'm an American.
Because like if you're grabbing a tool, you're
1/8 of an alligator.
You're making a fist when you grab a tool. So
Well, yeah, that's
this would not fit.
angry. Well, that's a long boy.
But they put like all the accessories go on top of the engine. So the air conditioning, alternator, power steering pump, they're all on top of the engine. Well, not anymore because it's electronic power steering these days, but like they're old school pumps. They put them all on top of the engine. They even made sure that they didn't like get anything in the way. Sometimes there's like a coolant hose that sucks to get to from the intake manifold, but I mean,
So it's different than Porsche, where they just kind of like
they make
engineered it in a computer and they somehow assembled
They
it.
make it. Porsche will make it as difficult as possible in every way. Yeah.
So just for the people that are actually listening, this is for the 4-liter Boxster GTS and Cayman GT4 GTS. It only affects 190 cars, but I was reading this. It is exactly what happens to the early M96 cars. Like, this isn't a one-time defect. This is why you have to count the over-revs on a used Porsche, because the connecting rod bolts are backing out, because they didn't torque them enough, because they never have. That's the biggest issue on a Porsche flat 6 water-cooled engine, is you have to make sure your connecting rod bolts don't fall out.
This is why I give Subaru credit once again. Is like I know Subaru sucks.
Their bolts don't fall out.
And they actively try to make things better. Like
they're regressing here. They're going back to
Porsche,
the early 2000s.
Porsche doesn't give a shit about you. Like they literally don't care that you're buying their cars. All they care about is profit.
Yeah.
Whereas like Subaru's like, oh dude, we totally bunged those head gaskets in 2000. So let's make the updated part number retroactive to the engines where a part number doesn't technically fit, but it will swap it.
You can turn off all the driver assist in a Porsche, and you cannot do that on a Subaru.
You can. You just have to do it every time.
It doesn't count. I hated that legacy so much.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but you didn't know to turn them all off.
I did. I did it every time. It took me 5 minutes when I started the engine every time to go into the infotainment system and shut everything off. And then I had like 8 warning lights on the dash, but at least it didn't try to jerk me out of my lane.
I like the 8 warning lights. I'm sorry, I like complex startup
He's
sequences.
still like a Subaru salesman.
Oh,
No, I'm not, because I still hate them as a brand, as like what they've turned into. But giving them credit where it's due, they're better than Porsche.
pre-eyesight. No, I'm not getting into this.
I'd say a mid-2000s Subaru, because they didn't have any technology back then, is a perfect.
If it's got like all superseded parts on the mechanical bits, maybe.
Well, they do at this point.
Well, yeah, that's true. If they're
That's
still
like
running.
if you buy a Subaru with 176,000 miles on it, you know it's good because everything's broken by then.
Yeah, they're all gone or
Yeah.
they're way too much money.
Yeah. So, speaking of Japanese cars again, I want to talk about the Datsun 510 because they finally a manufacturer. I don't know why this hadn't happened before, but nobody had taken the highest trim level Datsun 510, which was the Nissan Bluebird Triple S Coupe. Nobody had ever taken one and actually restored it perfectly. And finally, Toyota's done that for Nissan. Because Nissan didn't do
Wait,
that.
Toyota did
Toyota
this?
did that. Not Nissan, Toyota.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm very confused.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this right now. What Toyota is Nissan going to respond with?
Probably nothing because they have no money.
They're going to do like a 2000 GT and they're going to do it really badly?
No, they're going to probably do like a 2002 Sentra because all the parts, or a 2002 Camry because nothing's broken, all the parts
They're not
are
going to do like
available.
a Toyo Pet?
No, they're going to do like a modern Camry because that's all they can afford to restore right now. So
I just think of a bus company when I hear Bluebird.
yeah, I know, right?
And ironically, it's school bus yellow.
So what this is apparently done is this is done at the Restore Pit at the History Garage at Toyota's MegaWeb Museum.
There's a lot of interesting words in that sentence.
Which part do you want me to start with?
None.
Basically Toyota's a museum, and they have a repair shop with like a glass window so tourists can watch them restore the cars.
That's
Okay.
cool.
And they were restoring this.
Did anyone give a thought to like, hey, that's not a Toyota?
So
Did somebody just get really confused or not put on their glasses that day when they went to buy their next restoration project?
I'm really confused as to why. I imagine that Toyota is probably just doing like an expansion of like, look how great all of Japanese cars were in this era, but
How
like,
bad were Toyotas in this year where they picked
they
a
were really,
Nissan?
well, no, I mean that's the thing is they have. There you go. It actually makes sense now. So at their restoration,
Oh, they have a Z back there.
yeah, they've got a Z, they've got a Cosmo, they've got a
Oh, okay.
Celica. So they're actually doing all of the historic Japanese cars to show like just how great Japanese motor history is. Because frankly, Toyota doesn't have any domestic competitors anymore. Because Nissan competed themselves into a hole.
Yeah, and they don't have GR.
Yeah, and Nissan, well, they have Nismo, but I mean,
That doesn't
you can
count.
only make so much performance on a Juke.
I mean, if the 400Z or whatever they call it, maybe that'll rekindle something.
Well, I mean, the other thing is, like, just like as a brand, Nissan can't hold a candle. They're a competitor to Mitsubishi, not a competitor
Oh.
to Toyota.
Yeah.
Like that, and Honda's not going to hold a candle to them. Mazda maybe in like 10 years, but not right now.
Yeah, you can thank the Avantime for Nissan.
Yeah, well, no, it's more than that. It's
Carlos
been-
Ghosn?
Yeah. Really their issue was they were trying to sell to fleet markets for the last few years instead of redesigning cars.
Oh, you mean like the Rogue?
Yeah. It was pretty bad. So that's what they've been doing. They've been designing fleet vehicles. Not really the Rogue, really, is like the Altima.
Rogues have to be selling better than Ultimas.
They are. But this is the thing, is the Altima, like,
Did you see
it's
Forsberg's new-
more insulting than the Rogue.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is. I mean, it's a sedan, but like I hate it just as much
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why it's more insulting.
Did you see,
Because the Rogue you expect to hate.
because it's really bad.
Yeah. Whereas like,
Yeah, an Ultima is just such a generic pile of vanilla.
yeah, it's like it has the ability to not be terrible.
Did you see that Chris Forsberg?
The
his,
2000.
his new pro drift car for the season is an Ultima.
Yeah, it's a 2,000 horsepower Ultima.
No, it's not 2,000 yet. It's 1,300.
Oh,
The
okay.
engine theoretically has the ability, and I think they will turn up the screws, but
But I mean, that's the thing. It's also not rear-wheel drive. So
It is.
No, I mean in the normal. Ultima,
right.
it's not.
Oh yeah, like the actual car sucks, but like that is a sequential rear-wheel drive VR38.
Yeah, and
VR41.
thank God NASCAR is going to help Super sales so much because the Suka NASCAR is just the same thing as a real Super, right? Like it doesn't matter. Like, cool. You're.
I backed myself into a sad hole.
Yeah, your one-off drift car does not matter for car sales, but
It does have 4 seats, which is cool.
that's pretty cool. But I'm just happy to see that Toyota's actually like using their.
This
profit
photo
for
is
good.
important for context.
Yeah, this really helps make a lot more sense of everything. And I also love that.
Isn't this connection just so like prehistoric? Isn't it great having to watch photos load like that? Like
Yes.
it's the 1990s.
They're also huge photos. But also, I think another thing that's really important here is that they did the PS510 Triple S Bluebird because nobody ever gives that car the time of day that it really deserves. Because this car, like, it came out about the same time as the 2002 and the Fiat Giulia and everything, like that era. And it was just as good of a sports coupe and actually completely dominated SCC Air Racing. And like Alfa Romeo had to cheat to even beat them. But the Triple S is the one that like we didn't even get in America. Like you could buy the Triple S engine and stuff from Datsun stores as like a Copo sort of thing, but you couldn't legally get it in America. Like it wasn't supposed to be here. And nobody's ever really restored a Triple S the way you should. And so it's really cool to see that Toyota's actually doing that regardless of what brand it is.
It's
So,
a completely different Bluebird in yellow than I'm used to seeing.
yeah, I know, right? And it is also Bluebird yellow, which is hilarious. But yeah, the 510 was always called the Bluebird. Fun fact.
I did not know that. The 510 is cool, but yeah, they've just been so stratospheric. I haven't paid as much attention to them as I probably ought to.
Yeah, they've been unaffordable for a long time.
Unaffordable is a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, well, nah, they're gone.
Yeah, that ship sailed.
That ship
That
sailed
ship
before
sailed-
the E30.
The
yeah.
ship sailed when we were in high school.
Yeah,
I
when
remember-
nobody knew.
I remembered. I knew because I wanted
Wow.
one, but I couldn't justifiably drive a 510 as a daily driver. I was in high school.
When I was in high school, I didn't think the E30 was a great looking car. Now I do.
I knew it was a great looking car.
I didn't think so.
I just didn't think the E30 would blow up the way it did. Because I'm like...
Well, did anyone?
I expected the E46 to blow up first.
Well, it's because that was our car of the time.
Yeah, it was. And then I'm like...
That's like kids now, like the F80 and the G80. They're like,
I'm totally willing to admit that I'm eating shit on sleeping on the E30.
we slept on a lot of stuff, but we also got in on a few things which are important.
Yes, I got it on the Salga Super and then sold before it, and the AW11 and sold before it. I'm really good at selling before things really hit their stride.
I'm not
Like,
good at
when
selling things at all.
When they've hit like right before they hit market, I go, you know what, this is going up.
I can break even right now. Let's do it.
I do that. Fuck. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway,
Remember about a month ago we talked about the Conan.
the Kona Inn, yes.
Conan, yeah, the Conan the Barbarian.
Yes.
How it's ruining the N line because
Yeah.
it's a CUV with an auto.
Yeah.
Well, N's actually dead for sure now because the Veloster N is getting a DCT. Yeah.
Oh my god, lame.
So, N, we enjoyed you for the 2 years where you were good, but now it's time for you to go out behind the shed with the ST brand, and then we'll just shoot
Yeah.
you in the face like old Yeller.
That's pretty much it. The ST and then also Nismo.
Well, Nismo was never manual only. ST and N were.
Yeah, but Nismo, like, a Nismo GTR meant something.
Yeah.
And now, like, the Nismo Juke, I guess, technically does.
Well,
but,
that could
like,
be-
the Nismo, like, Sentra doesn't mean, it means absolutely nothing at all.
That could even be like AMG or
Jim, where's
S.
He's on the couch.
Oh, it's with Corey. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Constantly just like meat sweats coming in when I'm like, where's the cat?
And my nightmare is he's, like, inside the Lamborghini clawing at the
Oh,
whole
no.
I can't afford that.
I don't think any of us can.
But,
I forgot what I was going with this, but oh yeah.
yeah, they're
This.
totally dead.
Quit it.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Offer a Veloster with a DCT again. I don't care, but don't make it the N. I'm glad that it's at least a standard manual and you have to option a DCT, but you know all the fuckboys are going to do this.
It's the N, ST, S-Line, M,
AMG,
AMG,
Nismo.
Nismo. I will say that TRD, they make automatics. They've always made automatics, but they're quite good still.
Well, yeah, TRD never
I saw TRD Camry.
promised us this.
I saw TRD Camry
Like a
yesterday,
new
or
one?
2 days ago. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They've only made one TRD Camry,
Well, okay, fine.
and I was super hyped about it. It was super cool.
You
Car,
need
like,
one of those dash cams that has one that faces inside the car, and then anytime this happens,
I was
you can just publish
very
the video.
excited,
So
and I really wanted to
can see.
scream about it in the car, but Jan was like half awake, so I was
wow.
very, very quiet about it. I just went,
Like-
It's true. And
Put
then
it on
he wants
cruise
to
control just so you
explain
can
to me
shuffle.
how cool
I
it
do,
is.
because I want to
And
tell
I'm like,
somebody.
I already know.
I want to tell somebody how
We
cool
covered
it
the
is.
TRD Camry.
You
we
were
know
there
why
for
it's
it.
cool.
You gave us an opinion, but I still want to tell somebody.
Oh my god.
It's super cool. I love TRD Camrys. It's like probably my favorite Toyota right now.
Toyota has made such a comeback, and we knew they would. That you can't stay bad forever.
No,
but
you
like they
can't,
had
but-
such a malaise.
They really did. But I think, and the thing is Toyota's proven that you can make a comeback without having to spend a ton of money.
Yeah.
Without having to redesign anything.
It's a simple solution.
And even like, as much as I hate to say it, like they made a comeback with automatic transmissions being predominantly their transmission. Because even though the automatic transmission totally sucks and everybody just lampoons them on their automatic transmissions being in everything, and that's the biggest letdown. It's actually literally what every reviewer said is, the TRD Camry is great, and this automatic transmission makes me feel like I'm driving a minivan.
The GR Supra is great. It really should have a manual
Yeah.
option.
But this is the thing is they've proven that you can make a comeback while still keeping your bean counters happy.
Yep, because TRD never promised manuals.
Yeah, they never promised that.
Neither did GR.
Yeah.
But they just happened to like the Yaris,
Yeah.
which incidentally, that needs to come to this country so I can buy one.
Yeah, it's not going to.
I know. But every time I see anything on that car, I'm like, I need one of those really
So actually,
badly.
I did do the math on how much it would cost to import a TRD Yaris for a show or display title.
It's had to be a lot.
And it is significantly cheaper to buy a brand new Mitsubishi Mirage manual, base model, export it to Finland, get the R4 conversion done on it, and then have a all-wheel drive turbocharged Mirage rally car. That's registered in the United States.
That is not a Yaris GR.
But it's cheaper and performs better. And and makes more cooler or 3-cylinder angry noises.
Yeah, the Mirage does make good noises.
Yeah, it's a cool sounding engine.
But I want a Yaris GR.
I
If
do
that
too.
came here, I would go finance one. It'd just be a bad decision, but it would
brand
be
new, yeah.
so
we would
cool.
We'd both buy them brand new. I would totally buy one.
That's just one of those things where you go to the dealer and you're like, I just want to look at it, and then you come home with one.
Yeah, there are cars where I've said I would consider buying it. I've said that about the GT86.
I can't afford one. I would still buy one.
I said I would consider buying a GT86 and decided against it, so it didn't quite do it for me.
It's not special enough.
I would consider buying the XRS, the Corolla, the hot Corolla right now. I would consider buying a Corolla TRD. I would buy, no questions, a Yaris TRD.
Or GR.
Oh, you woke him up.
Oh. I almost got to see a Sleepy Lucy. Anyway, I'm going to
fall
take this
asleep
off
in
the
your
screen
arms.
because I'm just angry now because
Oh,
they've
I'm
lost
sorry.
her N and the
Why don't you-
i30N were good.
Well, how about this? SSR, you know, the wheel company?
Yeah, I have SSR Comp Cs in my garage.
So SSR was really famous back in the 60s for being one of the first Japanese, actually one of the first alloy wheel manufacturers, period. They
That's
made,
true. Wheels were not always made out of alloys.
Yes. And they were actually really well known for making the SSR Mark II and the Mark III. The Mark I was like a flat dish, where it's just an alloy dish. The Mark II was a 4-spoke. The Mark III was an 8-spoke. Very iconic for classic Japanese tuners. They re-released the Mark II and the Mark III, and they sold out in 5 hours.
What was their stock? Like how many orders did they get?
I don't know, but they did like a full run.
Oh, okay.
Like they did like a real run of them.
In different sizes and stuff too.
Yeah, like 4x100
So
and 4x114.3. The most aggressive spec was the 14x10.5 minus 32.
That's like a formula.
Oh, sorry, that was last year. But this year, the re-release, they did the 14x12 minus 51.
Oh.
It is almost square.
Well, yeah. That's
They were
true.
$1,600 to $2,500 a set. They had a
That's
run of
not bad.
400 wheels, and they sold out in 5 hours.
All size options.
Yeah,
Wow.
every size option for their 2021 release, and that's for a 14x12 minus 51
Hey
wheel.
man, people with formula cars that have Avon tires collecting dust, they need their wheels.
People that have the 510 and they're trying to modify it, I guess.
I was gonna say, I just kicked the cushion. I really thought I was kicking the cat. I felt so bad.
But yeah, hopefully SSR will make more of these wheels.
I want them to redo all of their series, but maybe re-release them in the number of years that they initially took to release these different models.
That'd be kind of cool.
So the 90s SSRs that were super popular with M3s, do those in 20 years.
That'd be pretty cool, actually. I'd be a big fan of that.
That'd be kinda
They'll
neat.
probably end up doing that. There is a brand called Con Racing or something. They do one piece, kind of like Roto style, not great, but they make exact designs of classic Japanese wheels. But they aren't the 3-piece thing. They aren't nearly the same. But man, they get the same look. They're just not. They're not the original. They're not like these, where
They're not the
so
real
much cool.
good.
Yeah, these are way cooler. So, big fan of them. And
Big-
I'm really happy that I'm not the only person that's a big fan of them.
Well, those kind of go hand in hand with an entire scene or style.
Yeah, you can't.
In
You
Japan.
literally can't make a Bosozoku or a Shakotan style car without a 14x12 wheel. That's
And then
one of the
some-
main tenets of it.
Very aggressive, exaggerated flares.
Yeah, it's like a 15-inch wheel on an EF Civic. You cannot run anything bigger than a 15 or a 16.
With manual steering, that sounds like a great time.
It actually is, because the car doesn't weigh anything.
Fair.
Yeah, and then you put an Integra steering wheel. It's like an inch wider, and it really drives just fine.
Especially if you're moving, I couldn't actually tell.
All right, so
Next up, okay. Last year we talked about Ford and the F-150.
Yes.
And how 80-month loans were now getting so popular.
okay.
I want to talk about Nissan. You know, all those cars that they can't sell to the rental agencies anymore?
Yeah.
Well, they're now pushing dealers to shove 84-month loans on these bad boys down to subprime people that can't afford them. so they can make more money, and so they can sell cars that won't last that long to people that shouldn't be buying them. So yeah, they're incentivizing dealers to shove people into these super long loans.
See, my thing with like Mitsubishi doing this is Mitsubishi makes a $10,000 car with the 84-month.
Yeah, your payment would be like $60.
Yeah, like there's a reason for that. Because they're going for the bottom of the market. Nissan's trying to encroach on Mitsubishi's market share with normal cars that are not that cheap.
Yeah, no, these are in the 30s.
So this is just for like millennials. This is stupid.
This is bad.
This is really dumb.
So it's bad.
This is gross, and I'm not a fan of this at all. And even Subprime Ryan is like a fan of like cheap cars for the masses.
So what I'm thinking is going to happen is 2021 is going to be the year where the Chrysler 200 and the Dodge Journey
go away.
Owners migrate to Rogues and Ultimas. So we're going to have to
I'm already seeing that, to be honest. So Ben has had 2 Ultimas drive into houses in his neighborhood.
And
okay, yeah, so it's already happening.
It's already happening.
And
the guy at the Capitol.
Yeah, because like, so he sent us a picture of the Ultima, the second Ultima that crashed into a house, and then I thought it was a joke, him referencing the one that drove into the Capitol, because he just like texted us about it,
Same
and we
day.
didn't see the picture, and so I was like, oh, you're joking about the one from the Capitol, and then I looked closer at his photo, and it was in his neighborhood, and I was like, on the same day, okay.
It's
cool.
It's sad when predictions become clairvoyance.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Okay, so yeah, everyone watch out for Rogues and Ultimas this year. Just stay away from them.
That was the first one on March 25th.
Oh my god.
Also, the police showed up in a Nissan Armada, and then Ben says another one hit. I said, what'd they show up in this time? A Rolls Royce Cullinan? And then later that day, where did I find it? I had a photo of the one from the Capitol. I said, do it for Dale. Number 3. Oh my god.
It's too Cletusy these days. It's a shitty thing that he kind of adopted that.
Oh, that's so funny.
But anyway, it's just like, dude, no. That's too long. Even a 60-month loan is like, you really need to reevaluate the thing you're buying because you can't afford it. And that was with me and the Tesla. Like, I did a 60-month loan on that for the first time ever. And I'm like, I really can't afford this car. But I bought it anyway.
And, like, with the... This is, again, my defense of Mitsubishi at doing this is, like, they do that for, like...
$60 payment.
You do it for the cheapest possible payment, not because, like, everybody can afford a $10,000 car. Like, it's not that
You're
hard.
buying down to what you can afford, not you're buying up to try to afford it.
Yeah, like, Mitsubishi, like, kind of what they're doing is, like, yeah, you know what? We know we have a $10,000 car. A lot of people that are buying $10,000 cars don't have credit. Whereas like Nissan's like just going like these are for people who have normal credit that are just like
a normally priced car.
This is a predatory loan. Whereas Mitsubishi
100%.
is like trying to help people get out of like the credit hole. They've like
and also
the
have a good reliable car while they're doing it.
Like that is a way to help people out of poverty. Is to own a Mitsubishi. Is you have a reliable car. It gets you 1 trillion miles per gallon, fits everything in the world into it. You can fix it with a hammer.
New, better face.
Has a new, better face, yes. And you can fix it with, like, it's just, that's a really good car for people, whereas this is not.
You know how companies have, like, the ultimate driving machine, Zoom Zoom?
Yeah.
Nissan subprime.
Yeah.
Predatory lending. Anyway, I don't want to talk
I'm not a fan of Nissan at all.
I'm not. They don't make any good products.
No, they aren't. However, I do want to talk about a good product sold to a good person on Bring a Trailer.
Good people helping
if you can
good
click,
people.
Go back up to the thing right there.
That's what I was
click
looking
that
for.
Button. This is actually my listing on Bring a Trailer, not my article on Japanese.
I was gonna say these two sites have some relation to you.
So what this is, I had a listing. It was a '76 Toyota Celica liftback. It was nearly completely stock, with the exception of some Mark II Celica Super Wheels. He's a good boy. He likes to lay in a big C. Yeah, there you go. You got it. Yeah, you can keep petting him. He'll love it. But it's sold for $62,000.
Oh, this is the car you were telling me about.
Yeah, $62,000 for a 76 Celica. It's like a RA27 or something. But, yeah, it's mostly stock. But the wife bought it for her husband as a gift because her husband had one. They loved it. And they had to get rid of it because they didn't have room for like a third car, and they had kids. Like they had like a whole fleet of kids. Yeah, so they got rid of the car.
Fleet of kids.
But anyway, so they had some inheritance, and the wife spent some of the inheritance getting her husband his dream car back.
So okay, I'm guessing this wasn't cheap then.
$62,000.
Okay.
Is probably double what was previously
And like
sold for.
it's an interesting looking car, but I mean, for the Malays, it's actually a really good looking car.
This is objectively probably one of the greatest cars of the 1970s. I think that it is one of the best looking Toyotas. This is the car that I have historically used to get muscle car fans into Japanese cars because it looks like a 67 Mustang.
Well, it's got similar proportions, but it also has like a little bit of 2000 GT line going to it, but it
Yeah.
still has the crash bumpers. So,
Yeah,
but they
yeah.
pulled it off really well.
Yeah, no, they did put crash bumpers quite well on this. The Japanese bumpers look a trillion times better, and it becomes one of the best looking cars in the world.
By the way, it's Lucy bumping the microphone.
Yes.
Not me.
But, oh yeah, this was by far the most expensive Celica ever sold of any generation on Bring a Trailer.
How many miles are on it? I mean,
Over 50,000.
It looks factory fresh.
52,000 miles shown. It's a 5-digit odometer, so true miles are really unknown. But it's one of those things where, I mean, it is...
This is pressing so hard.
He loves that. That's his favorite. But it's like, it's the world's cleanest 20R engine. Yeah, no, he loves it. Yeah, he's very happy.
I think I like startled a burp out of him or something.
Yeah.
He gets really into the ear
Like-
thing. Yeah.
He does that with burps and toots. It's really
So
funny.
20R is in a manual.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Of course it's a manual.
Well, they offered a
Right.
3-speed auto in this. I assume.
Yeah, but you're not going to get $62,000.
You
for a
shouldn't get
3-speed out of that.
$62,000 for a manual one of these.
Well-
They used to be able to get nice 2000 GTs for that.
Yeah. Okay. And
Yeah, that's all I
you
got.
used to be able to get an E30
Look
for $5,000.
At those vacuum lines.
Yeah, it's like everything is perfect.
Wow.
That car is-
Dual circuit master. Look
More
at the
importantly-
technology.
More importantly, the interior is the same color.
As the one they used to have.
No, it's all the same. Go look at the interior photos. Those interior colors are they're very close to the same color. Because I'm going to tell you that dashboard changes to like a beige. That becomes tan. These go orange. That goes straight brown. That just cracks in half. Like, it goes to 100 different colors as soon as you get this interior into the sun for any period of time.
I was
So
gonna
the
say
fact
it's
that-
already got a bunch of different colors, but it's
No,
not
that-
bad.
But that bunch of different colors for 1970s Japanese interior is like what it was supposed to look like.
So it
when
was
new.
garaged then.
Yeah.
Wow, this thing's in great shape.
Yeah. Well, no. Look at the fact that you have all your yellow zinc there. That's still the same color.
Yep.
It's really wild. Just a perfect car. It's dead reliable.
Oh, 5-speed even.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's got the it's got an 8-track in it and everything. It's a great car.
It's a very modern interior for a 76.
Yeah. It's a really good looking car. Like this is
I
like
didn't know the 20R was a 2.2.
yeah.
I thought it was a 2-liter, and
Nope.
the 22R was a 2.2.
No, it's because they were. Toyota does their numbers by the generation of the engine. Yeah.
Interesting.
So they have some jumps, like because like they went from like 15R to 20R and stuff like that. But I think what that is they'll have the generations that are prototype phase that like don't actually get released, where
Okay.
they'll be like like a 17R probably existed as a prototype where they had like a weird electronic carburetor or something and they just never made
The
it.
thermal reactor.
Yeah, it's like they'll have some like weird, like some small little changes in prototype phase, and by the time they actually release it, it'll be like a 22. Yeah, so it's
I
pretty
think-
cool. I think it's
Superb example, I believe, is maybe an understatement.
this is the perfect example of what a U.S. market Celica should be, because this is the car that really made the Toyota, like the Japanese sports car, a thing in America.
Yeah.
Specifically the liftback, because it gave you the muscle car looks
Yeah, I was gonna
while
say the
having
back
Japanese
end.
reliability. Yeah, I mean, you look at that.
It's a Mustang.
If you took all the Celica badges off, something like, yeah, it's like an AMC or something. No, that's a Toyota.
Could be a Javelin, yeah.
Yeah, like it could be like a 3rd-gen Javelin, yeah. But no, it's literally a Toyota. It's awesome. I love this car. That's always been one of my favorite Japanese cars of all time. But
So goals, find a woman that is this man's wife.
apparently, just be this man.
I'm like, yeah, I don't think I've ever made a good enough impression on somebody where something like that would happen to me. Which is
Yeah,
totally
I mean,
fair.
good for him. Like that's
I
like
told
the
Ryan
cool
that
story.
would never happen.
Yeah, it's not happening for me. I also told Jam, like, I don't really have that high of expectations. You're gonna spend $60,000 on a car for me. Like, you buy me a $6,000 Subaru GL, and I'll be thrilled.
That runs
Yeah, like a running, driving,
with a
perfect
digital
GL.
dash.
I saw XT on the way here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I thought it was a Prelude. And I'm like, there's this like big dumb bro truck with stupid wheels in the way. I'm like looking out the back window of the Fiat. I'm like, get the fuck out of the way. I want to see this Prelude.
Well, Lucy was probably in the back window being
No,
cute.
Lucy was in the floorboard because he likes being in the back window, but he does not like long drives. He gets tired of them. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't like going on highways. Too fast.
No idea. Weird. But,
All right.
yeah, then the Subaru passed everybody, and it was wonderful. And it was in decent condition. It was, like,
Yeah.
still pretty clapped.
Was it an
like-
XT6 or an
It was
XT
XT
Turbo?
because it was running.
Okay.
Yeah. Because XT6, you just can't find any of the parts for it. But,
It
yeah,
was running.
it was pretty cool. It was a
Presumably, maybe it
XT
was-
non-turbo.
Maybe
So-
it was LS swapped.
So it's a front-wheel drive, like XT non-turbo. It
Oh
was-
no.
I
That
mean,
is.
it's what is it?
I
What
haven't
it is.
seen one of those on the road driving personally for.
Possibly ever.
No, I've seen one, but I don't. It was one of those things where it was like the SVX. First time I saw one of those, I'm like, what the hell is that? And like that was a once and done too in like the 90s.
Yeah.
But and then I saw it. I walked by it, derelict on a driveway. But the XT, I saw one once, and I had to Google it for a long time to figure out what I saw. I was like, because it had like turbo written on the side.
Yeah,
like,
it's a
I was
rad
like
car.
googling like turbo coupe 80s, and like I was going through
It
2000s
gives you
Google.
every single Dodge Daytona.
And yeah, like even photos of these things are not popular.
No, they're hard to find. Like,
So I eventually found it. And yeah, like I saw a driving XT turbo at some point in my life, but it's definitely a once.
that's
What's
another
that-
very cool car for LS swap. by the
What
way.
was that other Subaru you mentioned? Because my brain's not working. Because Cody had several of those.
SVXs.
The SVXs,
Yeah.
yeah. Cody inherited an SVX, and he went, I kind of like this. And then he had like 2 or 3 more. Because
You
people
have
kept
like
on being
5
like,
of them, yeah.
people
Well,
kept
you need
saying,
parts cars.
No,
Then you
what-
need to find a Forester for the
Well,
manual.
no, what you do is, even if you don't do that, because like if you just want to make a quick, a really profitable quick flip, is you get a Subaru SVX that has transmission problems, and then you go find any Outback in the junkyard, like any 2000s, like 90s Outback. You pull the automatic transmission out of the Outback, you put it in the SVX, because the Outbacks actually had the most durable automatic transmission Subaru ever made. You put that in, and then it is like $300 for the transmission. You put it in the car. You buy the car for $500, $700, $800 all in. You sell it for $8,000. It's a
Yeah.
very whereas like manual swapping actually costs money. You can
Well,
just
yeah, but it's better because it's manual.
yeah, but it's also not profitable. So Cody would just put
I mean,
in
he did
Outback
both.
transmissions, and he would just make tons of money. He did a one manual swap, and he's like, I'm not
didn't-
doing that again.
It also didn't work
wasn't
as
worth it.
nicely as the.
Yeah,
automatic.
he was running like into issues. He had to like make custom
the
lines
wiring,
and stuff.
yeah.
Well, it wasn't even wiring because like Subaru uses the same computer for everything. It's kind of like what's cool about Subaru. Is like Subaru is the Lego kit Honda doesn't want to be.
I remember when Mighty Car Mods did Super Gramps 1, though, or just Gramps.
Yeah.
And, like, they had to go standalone because there was no computer that would interface with an EZ Series Flat 6
Yeah.
and a manual.
Yes.
That was the biggest issue. Like, if you have a
So,
four-cylinder,
but if you're
it's easy.
running stock, you're fine. It's not a big deal. But if you're running like big turbos and stuff,
No,
you're
I
gonna
wasn't
run
even talking about that. I'm talking about a 6-cylinder and a manual.
Oh, that
couldn't
might be
do it.
different. But I mean, like with the 4 cylinders
Yeah.
and like that era of 6-cylinder, it wasn't a problem. So, yeah. So you can do them really easily, just throwing out Outback transmission, and I don't know, eventually
I don't want to.
find yourself like a rolled over STI or something.
Put a 6-speed in it.
Put a whole STI everything into it, and
No,
be good.
it's the 6-cylinder noise is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Subaru 6-cylinders are
Flat
reliable.
6s are cool. Well, yeah, you're right. Yep.
The Subaru historically has not had issues with their 6-cylinders.
Every time I see an Outback with a 3.6R badge, I'm like, why? I mean, like,
So cool.
yes, but like, it's always somebody driving super slow. They're super old. I don't know why they bought the 3.6, but I'm like, I'm so glad these engines
It's notable.
exist.
If you drive the 2.5 versus a 3.6, like you go, yeah, I'm buying the 3.6. I could.
It's a great engine, the Easy 36, and like the amount of engineering they had to go through just to make that happen in that form factor, it's nuts.
It's really cool. It's a very cool engine. Like, Subaru flat sixes I love, but it's one of those things where it's like, if I could just, for simplicity, just do a 4-cylinder manual, just throw it all in, it all just bolts in.
I just want to do like an Easy 36 swapped Corvair or something.
That'd be cool, actually. That'd be very cool. Or, what was the last air-cooled Porsche flat six from the
The 993, but that was even...
Was that still Metzger, though?
Yep.
That's how you do
Yep.
Metzger. You do
Could,
that.
but those are pricey, and like, eh.
I guess it's good.
I'd rather hop up the Corvair engine.
Lucy was
Yeah.
offended you didn't go potty.
Yeah.
Oh, poor boy, didn't get to see you pee.
He gets very upset. He takes it as a personal affront.
Hey, buddy. You alright? You gonna survive? Dude, his paws are
He
like...
is purring.
I just heard him purring in the microphone. 1 second here.
Oh, here.
Did you hear him purr in the microphone?
I cranked it, see? Of course I heard it.
Perfect. Yeah, he likes to purr. He purrs constantly. Okay, well, let's end the episode so we can go pet my cat. All right, bye.
Bye, guys.